This story follows a young boy named Mike, an ordinary kid destined for something far greater, becoming a legendary warrior, the Outslayer of the gods, the sun. But there's a twist. Mike is blind. So how does he transform from an average boy into the powerful Michael? That's the journey we'll explore in this tale. The story begins with a news report announcing an exceptionally clear night sky. The moon is brighter than ever, with no clouds or pollution obstructing the view, making it appear crystal clear. On a rooftop, we see a young boy holding a telescope, our main character, Mike. As he gazes at the moon, an eerie sensation washes over him. Suddenly, he feels as if a massive statue stands before him. And in an instant, he's transported to another realm. But this isn't another world, it's his spiritual dimension. Mike senses the overwhelming presence of powerful gods towering before him. As he looks upon them, something strange happens. His eyes begin to stir with an unknown force. In that moment, he gains extraordinary powers. But at a devastating cost, his eyesight begins to fade. Fast forward a few years, and we find Mike standing among a crowd on the roadside. Now permanently blind, he always wears a cloth over his eyes. His journey from Mike to Michael is just beginning. Mike may be blind, but his heightened sixth sense allows him to navigate the world effortlessly. He can move through any space without hesitation or difficulty. One day, a little girl nervously approaches him, asking, "Can you help me cross the street?" She's scared to go alone because she isn't used to being outside much. Mike, however, already knows exactly when the traffic light will turn green. The moment the light changes and the pedestrian signal beeps, he instinctively senses it's time to cross. Without fear, he confidently takes the girl's hand and steps forward, completely assured in his movements. Seeing his unwavering confidence, others on the sidewalk begin following him, their eyes wide with shock. How can a blind man walk with such certainty? As Mike continues on his way, he encounters familiar faces, people who see him doing this every day. Yet, they're always left in awe. Mike is unlike anyone else. Since childhood, he has told people that he once saw the moon angel, an event that left him blind. But no one has ever believed him. Some even whisper that he's faking it. Yet Mike proves them wrong time and time again. Even with a blindfold covering his eyes, he moves with a precision that defies logic. One day, as kids play soccer nearby, a ball comes flying straight toward him. Before anyone can react, Mike effortlessly dodges it without even looking. People are stunned. How does he do it? Despite being blind and having no parents to support him, Mike remains unfazed. What others see as struggles, he sees as just another part of life. Even when bullied, he never lets it get to him. He doesn't care who's with him or against him. Not just people. Even fish in the water seem to sense there's something special about him. Mike finally makes his way home, where his younger brother, Lynn, is waiting for him outside the building, calling his name. As he steps inside, his aunt greets him with a familiar question. "Mike, why do you always bring back so much stuff? And how do you even know what's good and what's not?" Mike simply smiles and replies, "I only buy things that are verified." His aunt sighs. "You shouldn't waste your talent like this. You should go to college." Before Mike can respond, Lynn hands him a pair of goggles. "Keep these with you," he says. Just then, his aunt reminds him, "By the way, your doctor has been waiting for you inside for quite some time now." Mike heads straight to the examination room, where his doctor checks his eyes and mental health. "Your eye surgery will be complete soon," the doctor informs him. "You'll be able to go to school again." He then asks, "Are you still hallucinating?" Mike shakes his head. "What about your dreams, are they still like before? You should be sleeping properly. No headaches either, right?" But Mike isn't really listening. His mind drifts to an event that happened 100 years ago, an event that no one seems to care about anymore. A strange, dense fog had once spread from Antarctica at an alarming rate, as if it intended to consume the entire world. But what was even stranger was that the fog stopped abruptly at the border of Dacia. Every civilization that exists today, in some way, owes its survival to Dacia. But what confuses Mike is why no one seems to question what really happened a century ago. What was in that fog? Why did no one who entered it ever return? And more importantly, what is still hidden from the eyes of the world? Mike remembers how, as a child, Doctors tried all kinds of extreme treatments to fix him, only making things worse. Everyone believed he was just seeing illusions. But as the years passed and life seemingly returned to normal, Mike realized a harsh truth. If he wanted to survive in this world, he had only one option lie. Because even now, nothing has really changed. The only difference is he no longer tells anyone about it. At that moment, the doctor asks Mike, "Do you truly believe that God exists anywhere in this world?" Mike shakes his head. "No, not even a little. It was just an illusion in my mind, something I convinced myself was real." The doctor nods. "All right, then tell me this. Do you believe in mythical monsters?" Mike hesitates, thinking. "There's fog everywhere, covering the entire world. Except for our city, Daya. I have no idea what exists beyond that fog." As he speaks, we see a glimpse of that hidden world. Deep within a tunnel, monstrous creatures lurk, attacking workers before they can escape. But just before all hope is lost, a new figure arrives, an elite warrior known as a Slayer. This warrior wields extraordinary weapons and supernatural abilities, including a powerful staff that slices through monsters with unmatched precision. Her combat skills are breathtaking, every movement calculated and deadly. As the battle ends, she contacts her team. "I've cleared the East Tunnel. The rest of you, finish the job." We then meet more members of the elite Slayers, each possessing unique supernatural powers. 2 warriors draw their legendary swords, ready for battle. Their strikes are so swift that even the most powerful monsters fall instantly. Then, another fighter steps in, a sniper with unparalleled precision. His bullets cut through the fog, piercing any creature that dares to escape. With his high-tech weapons, survival is impossible for the monsters. Just as a few attempt to flee, a single explosive shot wipes them out completely. Yet, despite their victory, the Slayers remain on high alert. Something feels off. They suspect that some monsters have survived and are trying to escape into the city. Overseeing the entire operation is a mastermind, the strategist of the group, monitoring all movements across Daya. Meanwhile, we meet another Slayer Laos chasing down the remaining monsters. "We're almost done," he assures his team. "Just a little more." But the reality is far worse than they expected. The monsters aren't just running away, they're climbing higher, preparing to invade the city. Laos knows he must act fast. He pushes himself, climbing flight after flight of stairs, determined to reach them before it's too late. Meanwhile, the team's leader gives a final command. "Everyone, move faster. We can't let them escape." The battlefield is chaotic, but one thing is clear. The Slayers are the only ones standing between humanity and total annihilation. Now, all eyes are on Lao Zhao. He's the only one left who hasn't taken down a monster yet. The pressure is on. "And just give me a little more time," Lao Zhao mutters. "I'm about to take these bastards down." But before he can make a move, one of his teammates offers, "Do you need backup?" Lao Zhao shakes his head. "I got this." Without hesitation, he launches into battle, wielding his flying fire spear. In just seconds, 2 monsters are obliterated. He sets his sights on the last remaining one, but before he can strike, his teammate swoops in, finishing it off in one swift motion. Frustrated, Lao Zhao groans, "Come on, at least leave one for me. Am I even a Slayer if I don't get to slay anything?" Meanwhile, Dr. Mike's attending physician isn't just an ordinary doctor. He has powerful connections. After finishing Mike's checkup, the doctor quietly leaves, and later, during dinner, Mike's aunt asks, "So, Mike, what did the doctor say?" Mike replies casually, "He said my vision is perfectly fine, and my head is in great shape." His aunt nods but looks concerned. "When will you be able to go back to school?" Then, after a pause, she adds, "I just hope they don't bully you again." Before Mike can respond, his younger brother Lin chimes in, "Don't worry, I'll go with you tomorrow." Mike shakes his head. "Nah, don't bother. Trust me, I'll be fine. In fact, it's time for me to start a new life." Later that night, Mike lies in bed, staring at the ceiling. "Aunt Dr. Lin, I'm sorry. The truth is he had lied." His eyesight still wasn't back to normal. Hours passed as he lay awake, haunted by visions of the goddess. The same dream, the same pain. Why did that angel burn my eyes? For 5 years, he had been searching for answers. Ever since that day, a strange ability awakened within him. He could sense everything around him, even with his eyes closed. But this power only raised more questions. And Dr. Lin? Mike wasn't sure he could trust him. A normal doctor wouldn't ask the kinds of strange, almost supernatural questions that Lin did. This all started 5 years ago with a dream. We cut to Mike's nightmare. He's in a thick, swirling fog, surrounded by mysterious buildings, ancient, crumbling structures filled with strange, unseen forces. Dark figures lurk in the shadows. He's seen these buildings many times before in his visions, but never once has he been able to step inside. Until now, he stands before a towering gate, an eerie inscription glowing on its surface. Asylum of the Gods. Mike's heart pounds. Could the answers be inside? Could I finally see the gods? Mike had already made up his mind, no matter what. He was going to open that door. The moment he touched it, the entire space around him started to tremble. These past 5 years, I've never been this close, he muttered. I've never even dared to lay a hand on this door. I never searched for the answers, but I know. Every answer I seek lies inside this asylum. Determined, he started working on cracking the lab's lock, trying to find a way to open the door. The next day, we see Mike heading to school for the first time in a long while. He kept a blindfold wrapped around his eyes, yet walked with the confidence of someone who could see everything around him. To the other students, this was anything but normal. How the hell is a blind guy moving like that? They whispered among themselves. When he entered the classroom, he was met with classmates who were unusually friendly. Some even wanted to be his friends. "Do you guys even know me?" Mike asked, suspicious. One of the girls explained, "Your aunt asked us a while ago to befriend you." It made sense now. Everyone was just being nice out of obligation. But Mike didn't mind. If anything, it was a reminder that he had to work even harder. He needed to study to find answers, to uncover the truth about what had happened to him. His classes, however, were boring to almost everyone except him. That day, they were learning about the mysterious fog that spread across the world. While the others barely paid attention, Mike was laser-focused. "I'm going to change my life," he told himself. That night, Mike and his classmates left school together. They insisted on walking him home, even though he repeatedly told them, "Trust me, I can make it on my own. We promised your aunt we'd look after you, and we're going to keep that promise," one of them reassured him. But Mike couldn't help but feel frustrated. "Why do people treat me like I'm sick?" he thought. "I can function just fine on my own." As they walked, the group started chatting about a beautiful girl from school. But they had no idea that something terrifying was about to happen. One of the students reached his house and said goodbye, heading inside. The rest continued walking until one of the girls suddenly stopped. "Do you guys smell that?" she asked. It was a strange, nauseating stench. Before they could react, the putrid odor became unbearable, making them gag. Then, in the blink of an eye, the creatures appeared. Monsters. The sight of them sent a wave of pure terror through the group. These weren't just any monsters. These were horrific, grotesque creatures that looked so deadly, so utterly terrifying, that anyone would be paralyzed with fear. A distress call was immediately sent to Laojiao. Reports of monsters attacking people in the city had already been circulating, but now, lives were in immediate danger. "Get there as fast as you can," his commander ordered. Meanwhile, the boy who had just left the group was running for his life, sprinting through the streets as fast as his legs could carry him. Mike keeps pushing past his friends, determined to escape, but suddenly, a monstrous creature blocks his path. Realizing the danger, Mike yells at his teammate, "Run! I'll hold it off!" He tries to flee as well, but he isn't fast enough. One of the monsters fixates on him, chasing him relentlessly. As Mike keeps running, another horrifying creature appears in front of him, chewing on a human hand. He's trapped. Curious to know what Mike will do next? Watch part 2.